Good morning. Good morning. It's a great morning. It's a great day. It's a blessed Thursday morning. Listen, man, the sun is shining, the skies are clear. I bet the wind out there blowing pretty rough. But listen, it looks beautiful outside from what I can see. So guess what? God is shining down on us, man, and he's smiling on this earth. Right? Is he proud of that? Proud of everything that's going on? No. But make sure that what? He's proud of you. Make sure that you doing what you ought to be doing. So that way when he come back, he can see you already working and doing what he called you to do. All right? Make sure you ain't stumbling. Listen, I got my struggles. Lord knows. Hey, Lord knows I got mine. But guess what? I want to encourage each and every last one of us, man. Listen, if Jesus was to take us right now, are you blameless? Are you bold? Are you able to stand before Jesus Christ and say, Jesus, you've only heard this not too many times. You didn't hear this too many times, but check my record and see that I've done everything that you've told me to do. Are you in that state of mind where it's like, man, Jesus, I know I'm doing everything that I ought to be doing. Are you there yet? See, that's where I want to be at. I want to get to that part. I want to get to that much obedience to say, like, Jesus, when I stand before Jesus, man, I'll be like, okay, Jesus, I've done everything that you've called me to do to my best knowledge. If I've doubted anywhere, Lord, forgive me. But to my ability, to my knowledge, I've done everything that you have told me to do. So, I say, man, let's start. Put our best foot forward, man. Let's do all that we know that we ought to be doing and minister and telling the people and discipling people is one of the things that we are to be doing. Going out preaching the word. That's one of the last things Jesus told his disciples, man. Listen, over in Matthew chapter 28, he said, man, go out, make disciples of all nations, teaching them to do the things in which I've commanded you all to do. So guess what? We have to preserve the ways of God and not allow people to distort it and think that, man, grace and mercy is just everything, and you can continue to do the things and not overcome nothing. That's not biblical. He said, to them that overcome, they shall be clothed in white raiment. Not to who's still struggling and just taking my grace in vain and just taking the time that I'm giving them in vain, but to them that overcome. Man, I learned last night, man, that you could be doing this in vain. And that blew my mind. That blew my mind, man. Oh my goodness. I was like, Lord, please don't let me be serving you. Don't let me be doing nothing in vain. That took a whole different spin to the Matthew chapter 7, where it says, many in that day shall say to me, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied? Have we not preached? Have we not baptized? Have we not done all these wonderful things in your name? Healed the sick, done all these things. He said, man, I never knew you. Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. So that means, man, that they was lacking in an area that they should have overcame. That they did not hold fast to to the same truth that they had. They got watered down. They got relaxed at one point in time and got so busy with the work and didn't keep up with their salvation. They wasn't working their salvation with fear and trembling. But listen, I'm going all over the place, and I wanted to hit on one spot, but I went down 85, then took a right on 20. But listen, that's but listen to me. Okay, let's run over to Matthew chapter 22. And we're gonna start at verse 37. We're gonna actually start at verse 36. We're gonna start at verse 36. He said, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? 37, Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. He said, this is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. The second is just like it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Now, he said, on these two commandments, which is love thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, and with all thy soul. And love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Okay? He said the rest of the 10 hang off these two. But that don't mean that the 10 we don't have to do. These are just the basics. If you love your neighbor, you will not steal from him. If you love your neighbor, you will not kill him. If you love your neighbor, you will not commit adultery with his wife. If you love your neighbor, you will not covet the things that he has. Watch this. If you love God, you will not have no other God before him. If you love God, you will not take his name in vain. If you love God, you will remember the Sabbath. You hear me? See, it's not just doing these things and then forgetting the Sabbath. It's not just doing 9 of them and forget 1, or do 8 and forget 2. Man, you got to do them all. And watch this. He said, man, we must worship Jesus in spirit and in truth. We got to worship God in spirit and in truth. So it's even deeper now. Let's turn over to 1 John, man. Let's turn over to 1 John chapter 3. See, because this ain't in the commandments. This is not in the commandments. Watch this. 1 John chapter 3, and we're going to start at verse 15. Okay? We're going to start at verse 15. It says, whosoever hate his brother is a murderer. And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. So at first I thought it was just, wait, hold on, what? I thought I had to really kill somebody, like put a gun to their head or shoot them or stab them or run them over with a car. They say if you hate your brother, you like a murderer. You're just like a murderer, and a murderer is not going to heaven. So we even got to dive a little bit deeper. Like, okay, I don't hate my brother, but I'm not going to help him out if I see him hurting. Is that loving him, or is that hating him? You won't do that to your best friend, would it? But you're going to do it to your brother. You won't do that to somebody that you like, but you're going to do that to your brother. Who even though that, man, even though y'all might be at out with each other, you're not going to go and make peace with them? Let's man, say, bro. It even goes deeper. We just see brother, right? If you hate your brother. Let's turn over to, let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's turn over to Luke chapter 6, man. We see that, okay, Jesus, you want us to love. Okay, you tell us how to love. You show us in spirit and in truth. If you love your neighbor, you wouldn't hate your brother, because that's like a murder. If you love your neighbor, you wouldn't be touching this woman or you wouldn't be looking onto this woman lustfully, because you've already committed the sin in your heart. You've already had sex with her in your heart. You don't even have to touch a woman to commit the sin. If you look up on a woman lustfully, you've already committed the sin. That's with married women, or that's with single women, no matter what. And women, it's the same way with a man. So he said, man, you got to worship me in spirit and in truth. Let's run over to Luke chapter 6. This goes into love your neighbor as yourself. And let's even say this, man. Jesus told us, man, love your neighbor as I have loved you. So let's see how Jesus loved us and take this example. So he say, but I say unto you, Luke chapter 6 and verse 27. He say, but I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies and do good to them which hate you. Bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. Right? And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other. He say, if somebody punch you on one side of your face, Man, tell them, hey, get me over here too. He say, turn the other cheek. Pray for them that hate you. Bless them that curse you. You hear me? Pray for them that despitefully use you. Love them that hate you. Love your enemies. So this even goes into deeper meaning of loving your neighbor. See, because your neighbor can be just somebody that you love, and you don't call this other dude that you don't really like your neighbor. Your brother can do something to you and you just, man, that ain't my neighbor. That ain't my brother. I don't care. Ooh, but listen though, but yet Jesus, he said God commended his love towards us while we was yet sinners. That means we were his enemies. See, we was God's enemies at one point in time. So you think that God will not have us to do the same thing that he done for us to other people? You think that you just exempt or you above this? Man, we all got to do it. If God did it, if Jesus did it, we got to follow that same example. He said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. Man, they beat me, Dad. They whipped me, Dad. They spat on me. They kicked me. Oh, my goodness. Come on, let's watch this. And him that taketh away thy cloak, forget not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy good, ask them not. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. So that means to somebody that doing bad to you, do good to them. Because guess what? You done bad to somebody yourself. See, I don't try to get all holified and make yourself feel all good and think that you better than somebody else just because you doing a couple things and you not as bad as you once was. Because guess what? You still done these things before. And if you want mercy, you got to give mercy. If you want grace from God, you got to give grace from God. I mean, grace to other people. You done did the same thing. So don't be trying to, man, pick on nobody and make somebody else feel bad just because they hurt you once. Just think about the multitude of things that you've done to hurt God after knowing God. Not before, after knowing God. How many times you fallen? How many times how many times you probably made God mad, but you want to kick somebody off you want to just separate yourself from somebody because they made you feel some type of way. Don't do that. Don't do that. You ain't no better than them. Because guess what? You've done the same thing to God. I'm talking to us. I'm talking to me too, right? We've done the same thing to God, but yet we want to cut off somebody when they do something wrong to us. Come on, man. Don't do that. Come on, man. He say, to the merciful, I will show myself merciful. He say, to whatever you show yourself to the world, that's what I'm going to show myself to you. If you show yourself loving to the world, I'm going to show myself loving to you. If you help people, man, that was looking down on you, that was cursing you, that was trying to get you fired, man, that was trying to get you to quit, that put you in such a deep sense of, man, hate and anger, but yet you still bless them, but yet you still been like, God, forgive me. I'm sorry. Let me do what you told me to do, which is love my neighbor, love my enemy, love those that hate me. Pray for them that despitefully use me. Pray for them that's using me, knowing that they're using me, just trying to see how much they can get out of me. Lord, forgive me. Help me out. Help me with that long suffering. Because guess what? God is long suffering to us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. You hear me? So don't think, man, that you just so much above somebody else. You ain't. Lord, forgive me. Watch this. Watch this. Ooh, we. Ooh, we. He say, but love your enemies. This is verse 35 in Luke chapter 6. But love your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again. Watch this. He said, but love your enemies and do good and give to them. God is telling us now to give to my enemies. God, you want me to give what I have, what I work so hard for, to my enemy? Come on. Watch this. And your reward shall be great. See, that turned a lot of heads. That made me smile. That made me feel good. I'm like, okay, you go repay me. So it's not about the repayment, but it is about really showing who Jesus is in us, through us, by the way that we live. It's not about the money. It's not about being repaid for what you've given him, but about being repaid. Like, man, even when I'm God's enemies, even when I was God's enemy, man, guess what? God still lent his hand out to me. He said, man, I reign on the just and the unjust. Not just my people. I reigned on the Gentiles too. I reigned on the people that hated me, that didn't even know me. I gave them what they needed. So we do the same thing, family. We gotta do the same thing. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. Come on now. He say, and ye shall be children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. That's good. That's good. Man, I just praise God for that. I just thank God for that, man. Cause it's so many times that I know for sure I was on God's we about to take him out. Plenty of times. Plenty of times. You hear me? So, man, I say, listen, not I, but God said, be merciful. Be grateful to people. Give people what you expect from them. Don't think that you any better than them because you was in the same spot. You hear me? You was in the same spot that they was in not too long ago now. All right? Man, I got one more for us. Let's flip back over to 1 John. We can also go into Exodus chapter 22 and 23 and read about more ways, man, how we can really love our neighbors. And also in Leviticus chapter 18, how we can love our neighbors, man, deeper in a better way. Okay? We're going to 1 John chapter 14. Let's read this. I'm sorry. 1 John chapter 4 at verse 17. He said, herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. Jesus is coming back for those that look like him, that is, I forgot what's the word, but I think it's like exuding, that is showing the light, that is walking in the light and illuminating them that are around them. See, and a part of it is love. Another part of it is walking in the fullness of truth. See, we still got to be salt while we're being light. All right? Man, listen. We got some work to do. We, as in y'all and me, we have some work to do. We're not where we need to be at. But guess what? We're striving. Keep on striving. Keep on pushing. Keep on learning so much more that you ought to be doing. Okay? Once again, man, that's a blessing to be able to receive this word this morning. And now we got another chance and another day to go and let our light shine. All right? And y'all have a blessing. Y'all have an amazing day. And once again, peace out.